Peru is cheaper. That part is true. But there are things I pay for here that I never budgeted for. Not because they're expensive, but because they simply weren't part of my life before. Things I didn't expect to pay for, or didn't think I need. In this video, I want to talk about the real hidden cost of living in Peru, especially for expats and long-term visitors. Some of these costs are obvious. Others only show up once you're actually living here. And individually, they're small. But together, they can change your monthly budget. This video is for people who are thinking long-term, not vacation math, not 2 weeks in Miraflores math. This is real budgeting, living here day to day. I'll use my own numbers throughout this video, not to complain or scare you, but to give you a realistic picture of what life here actually costs once you settle in. For example, I pay 50 soles per month for neighborhood security. That's about 13 to 14 US dollars at today's exchange rate. That one line item alone tells you a lot about how life here works. And it's just one example. I'll share several more as we go. If you are considering living in Peru or staying here long term, this video is for you. If you're only visiting short term, some of this may not apply, but it will still give you context. Cost number 1, safety and security add-ons. One of the first things you'll notice in cities like Lima is how visible security is. You'll see guards at banks and shopping centers. That makes sense. But you'll see security guards on residential blocks. Entire streets may be gated. There are guardhouses at entrances, even in affluent neighborhoods. This is normal here. In my case, the cost is 50 soles per month, roughly $13 to $14. On top of that, there's an additional 100 soles per year, about $27. Because in Peru, workers receive 14 salaries, not 12. 2 extra bonuses, one in July and one in December. I also contribute small things like water for the guards during long shifts. Is this mandatory? No. Is it common? Very. And for me, it's worth it, especially when arriving home late at night. Security guards also act as a first point of contact for visitors, delivery drivers, and even garbage collection. So this isn't about fear, it's about peace of mind and convenience. And the reality is simple. Safety isn't expensive, but it isn't free. Cost number 2, transportation convenience. Transportation is another hidden cost that adds up quietly. Taxis in Peru are affordable, which means you use them more. A short Uber or Cabify ride might cost 10 to 20 soles, roughly $270 to $540, depending on distance. That feels insignificant until you start doing it every day. I walk a lot and I use public transportation regularly, especially in areas like Barranco or Miraflores. But convenience creeps in. At the end of the month, my taxi total can easily reach 200 soles or about $54. That's not a problem as long as you expect it. You're paying for comfort, speed, and avoiding traffic stress. But it is part of your real cost of living. Cost number 3, healthcare reality. Healthcare is one of the most important costs to plan for, and not something you want to leave to chance. In Peru, there is a significant difference between public and private healthcare. Most expats use private healthcare. My monthly private health insurance costs 317 soles, which is about $86. Coming from Canada, I'm used to universal healthcare funded through taxes. It's not perfect, but it's reliable and it's something I value. Peru's system is closer to the US model. Access to private healthcare often depends on insurance or employment. The public system exists, but is frequently overcrowded with long waits, and it's not entirely free either, even if costs are lower. So while healthcare here is much more affordable than in the US, it's not free cheap. Especially if you want consistency, choice, and speed. Healthcare is affordable until you actually need it regularly. Quick pause here. If you're finding this kind of real-world breakdown helpful, and you're seriously thinking about living in Peru or spending extended time here, consider subscribing. This channel shows the day-to-day reality, not just the highlights. Cost number 4. Visa, legal, and bureaucracy costs. Another hidden cost people underestimate is bureaucracy. And this one costs both money and time. Residency applications, legal assistance, document translations, legalizations from your home country's Peruvian consulate or embassy. You may handle some of it yourself, or you may decide to work with a lawyer or a facilitator. Either way, there is a cost. And then there is the cost of time, appointments, waiting, follow-ups. It can be frustrating, but long-term it's worth doing it properly, especially if you plan to stay. Cost number 5. Money transfers, banking, and foreign exchange fees. Money movement creates small leaks in your budget. If you work remotely, receive a pension, or manage investments abroad, transferring money becomes part of life. I deal in multiple currencies and personally use Wise for international transfers. It's efficient and transparent, and I'll link it below if you want to check it out. PayPal can also work, depending on your situation. ATM withdrawals are another factor. Some ATMs charge up to 19 soles per withdrawal, about $5, and limits can be low. Many expats use Banco de la Nación ATMs, which often don't charge withdrawals fees for soles. Then there is the hidden cost most people forget: time. Traffic, long lines at banks, government offices like RENIEC, mobile carriers. Waiting becomes a form of payment, and waiting comes with stress. Out of curiosity, which of these costs would impact your budget the most? Let me know in the comments. Cost number 6. Electronics and imported tech. Here's one that will surprise you a lot. Breaking a phone in Peru can hurt more than a rent increase. Imported electronics, especially Apple products, are significantly more expensive here. When I needed to update my MacBook, buying it in Peru would have cost me about 500 Canadian more. That's roughly $370 or around 1,370 soles. The price difference alone could pay for a flight back to Canada or multiple domestic trips within Peru. So I waited and bought what I needed abroad. If you use Android or PCs, you'll have more affordable local options. But if you are deep into the Apple ecosystem, this is something to plan for before you arrive. Cost number 7. The Gringo Tax. This topic comes up constantly in expat and travel groups. Being charged more because you're foreign. Sometimes it is intentional, sometimes it's not. Language barriers, unfamiliarity, assumptions. It can happen with service, repairs, or informal pricing. There are also official cases, like museums, where foreigners and locals pay different prices. That's simply how it works. The good news is, this tends to decrease over time. As you learn the language, as you understand pricing, as you stop looking new. You can negotiate in many situations, and it often works. But if that's not your thing, that's okay too. Comfort has value. Is Peru still cheap? So with all that said, is Peru still affordable? Yes, very much so. Your cost of living depends heavily on your lifestyle. After a while, most people's costs stabilize. You learn where to shop, local markets versus supermarkets, what's worth paying for and what isn't. You can spend a lot here, or you can live very comfortably on a modest budget. It comes down to awareness and expectations. These hidden costs didn't stop me from living in Peru, but surprises stop people. If you want to dive deeper, I've linked more videos on cost of living, safety, and daily life in Peru on screen now. Thank you for watching. This is Victor. I'll see you in the next one.